Iowa. Some of my work is a lot to do with my culture, being a first generation and knowing family that hasn't crossed the border. I have a lot of stories that I've been told growing up, and here in Des Moines, not a lot of people can share that unless they have that background with them too. And I feel like a lot of their stories is undocumented, and that's what I try to do. A lot of my work has to do with my family, their background, where they came from, and it just kind of it kept going and going and going, and now it's more to where I'm at as a Chicano here in the United States. Sometimes I feel like there's not enough positive recognition, and that's something that I'm trying to do. I work a lot with the community. I try to give a better light to things that are going around today. A lot of people see Hispanic, and a lot of negative thoughts go across their mind, and I want to change that. I want people to start seeing that Chicanos have a lot to give to the United States, Iowa alone too. I mean, that's where I'm based at, and that's where I want to start. I feel like the community is growing, and they need a lot more people out there trying to represent and trying to shine a better light. Some of the art that I think is important to me is I like line work, I like texture, I like rhythm, I like storytelling especially. Storytelling is a lot. I do a lot of storytelling in my printmaking. Just being a Chicano and growing up, not a lot of people knew the stories of my family, and and other Chicanos that I do know, they share similar stories, and nobody really knew about those. And storytelling is very big in my art, and I think it's very important in art in general. It's a great way to represent and show that somebody was there and they did their thing. Some of the artists that I look up to and in the storytelling is like Artemio Rodriguez. He's a printmaker, and Jose Posada. Jose Posada is very influential to me. After I start looking into other artists that are printmakers, I think that's where I actually grew my love for printmaking. I was just drawing and kind of went to painting, and then printmaking. I found it, and I was kind of in a toss-up with printmaking, and I found that printmaking was better for me because I'm a storyteller. I like to tell stories. I have an enthusiastic attitude towards a lot of things, and I feel like the best way for me to give a story or tell a story is through my printmaking. And and I feel like Artemio Rodriguez, he does the same thing. Like when I look at his stories, I look at his prints, I see his enthusiastic storyteller in it. I see a lot of good things, a lot of good qualities I like to try to incorporate in my work. It's very political, but yet it's still humorous. It tells important things that not a lot of people are willing to hear, and through humor, I mean, it's just easier that way, and I feel the same way through my artwork too. As an artist, I think that artists can be translated to anything. I mean, everything we do is an art. Like right now, I'm doing printmaking, or tomorrow I might do a painting, or I might just sketch here or there, the day after, or while I'm painting. Everything we do is an art, I think. And it's something I've been talking with other people about, and what is an artist today? And an artist today is just somebody who's able to adapt and take in any kind of media and use it as their message. And that's what I think an artist is. Like, I do a lot of mixed media in my work too. Sometimes I'll do collage work with some spray paint, or I might do a 3D design and add a little painting element to it. But I think it is just whatever being an artist, I mean, it's just using whatever tools or whatever it is that you need to convey your message. I mean, you got that, or I mean, gosh, everything is an art to me. Actually, that's how I feel. I mean, going to work, being the best you can be is an artist, and that's what I want to do. Is I want to represent and be the best I can be, and that's how I want to do my artwork. Is just be the best. I'd say my big influences is my family. They're a big reason why I even make anything that I do. That was never really encouraged to, to be an artist or anything. I was always told, no, you gotta go to work, you gotta work, you gotta work, you gotta work, you gotta work. And but they have such amazing stories, and when you work all the time, you're not able to, talk and let people know what's going on. And that's what I'm doing, is I'm just documenting everything that, that I grew up hearing and knowing. And so, yeah, my family is a big influence. They've told me so many great stories, and I try to incorporate that in my work, in my attitude, my everyday life. Just that alone, and my cultura, that's a lot of things that I do in my work. I do a lot of same mark makings. My borders always have my culture. It's just something that's become part of me now. I feel like I can't just, make something and not add my rhythm, my culture, my beliefs in there. Somehow, I know there's always a possibility and a way, and that's just, I think that comes from, right back to my family. Big influence. They've always said there's always a way. If there's a will, there's a way. This piece right here is Climbing the Dream, and I made it after hearing my father tell me stories about his failed attempts of coming over here to find a better life. He grew up in the barrio, and just growing up, he started working, since he was young, just so he can feed his family. And he would always tell me about all his shenanigans, how he used to try to cross here. And there was this one time that when he crossed here, he went into one of the freight trains, and one of the top locks, he broke it, so they can open it and close it. And his friend decided that while they were cruising in the train, that the lock was broke, so his friend decided to fix it. And what was funny about it is, after that, my dad was, gosh, I wouldn't even say it was funny. It's funny now, just hearing the fact that his friend, fixed this lock that my dad broke, so they can make it and get out. And his friend made it, so they were stuck in there. They were stuck in there for a whole day and a whole night. And they were sitting there frantically crying and screaming, begging to get out. Somebody heard them screaming, and they let them out. And after that, my dad was thankful. I mean, he found religion. He found a purpose. But he kept telling me that story, and he told me that story over and over and over and over and over and over. And it was him and his buddies crossing the border to find a better life. And I don't know, I've held on to this piece for quite some time, and it's a very powerful piece to me. It's hope. These people found this hope, and here they are, trying to do it any which way they can to get to that hope. So that was the whole piece for that. And then, aside from that, I think a better tool that I use to do my storytelling is my printmaking. Like for instance, right here I got my maestro. This is, my Jesus Chile, because a lot of Hispanics are very spiritual, they're very religious, and their leader is always God. That's how I feel. I mean, that God leads me. And I did Camina Hombre, and this is El Coyote. And the Coyote, in this one, it tells the story of the coyote. The coyote helping the immigrant cross with a gallon of water. I have many friends that, growing up, not all of them, are from here, but they told stories of how they crossed too. And I mean, it's horrible. I mean, you're walking in the desert, you don't know which way you're going sometimes, and you're lucky to get a gallon of water. Sometimes you just get this little liter if you're lucky enough for that. And that's the whole reason why I did this one right here. It was just a kind of, my chiles are witnesses to things that go on around the border, and you know, I bring it over here to the States. I have other chiles that, you know, are more Chicano, more Americanized, but these ones are the starters right here. And I made my super chile. My super chile comes from a corrido where they talk about, you know, Superman being illegal just like them. And you know, I look at other artists, you know, and Superman is very iconic in the Mexican culture. Artemio Rodriguez has it. And I mean, he's just, you know, what is Superman? He's an illegal, but people accept him, but they don't accept their neighbors. And this is just, you know, my interpretation of the Superman, you know, legacy and printmaking and Chicano work.